DP from the film days.
Yeah, the dit man's interesting. He was the one that shook me. That part of digital shooting came as a new thing. I didn't know anything about a dit man. Suddenly there's this guy with a truck and a tent and telling me what to do. Yeah. And you suddenly think, hang on, hold up. So that took me... Yeah. But he had, he's an interesting man. He had little machines he'd plug in the back and he could read the thing, couldn't he? The card and everything, and find out if something went... Well, we were dropping frames at 60 frames. Well, we wound them up full crank because we did do some over-cranking stuff. When we did wind it up, it was dropping frames. When we got to 60 frames, if you hauled back to 50 odd, it wouldn't drop frames. But so that was going. He'd put this thing in the back and did, turn things and looked at little gauges going mad, and never knew what he was doing. But that was that high-tech thing that, quite honestly, I'm not interested in. I'm more interested in what the camera's shooting, and as long as those boys can keep a camera recording what the director wants and what we can do for him, that's all I'm there for. I don't want to get involved technically in those things. Same with film. I did a film in Central America 25 years ago, and ended up using high-speed negative, and decided because we're in a hot, sticky jungle, I didn't want to be changing magazines all the time, so I shot the entire picture on the high-speed negative. Well, I got into so much trouble in America. They couldn't understand that. How could you do that? They used to ask me, they'd say, at little things, they'd say, but you're shooting on a beach at midday with high-speed stock. And I'd say, yeah. And they'd say, but that's designed for night work and low light work. And I'd say, so? It looks great at midday. They'd say, but how do you... I'd say, NDs. Just put an 85 ND 12 in and you're down to something like 40 ASA. Good rating for a beach at midday, and it looked great. So from then on, I never used a slow-speed stock. For the rest of my career, I never did it. It was always a high-speed negatives. So I tried to simplify everything about the recording of the film. So, I'd go to Panavision. I knew exactly what lenses I thought could do the job, and you pulled in specialist lenses that you needed if there was a situation. But otherwise, it was the 11:1 zoom and all zooms. And I used to carry just one box of primes, which included super speeds, the old, excuse the expression, but save your ass super speeds. And that's all I carried. And studio chiefs couldn't believe how low our camera budget was, because I'd have 4 zooms and that'd be it. And a box of basic primes, and that'd be it. Whereas a lot of American cameramen, if they had 4 cameras, they'd have 4 sets of primes, 4 sets of zooms, and the price of that was just ginormous. Whereas I used to think, if I've got 4 cameras, I'll put 3 zooms on, 4 zooms on, and you've got the whole box on each one. Why worry about it, And I've never been, to be honest, very, very worried about the quality of lenses either. As long as they're consistent, that's all I ever worried about. There were days in the early days where you colour matched your lenses as well. You test them for colour and reject them if they were too far out of colour. You don't have to worry about that now. The DI, fix it in the post. You can just click a button and a little bit more blue in that one and whatever, and you've fixed that. So to me it was, towards the end I just handed it over to the first ACs and said, put together those lenses and the lenses that suit you the best, the focus puller, because that is the one job, I reckon, left in film that can't be done in post. You can do a little bit, you can do 5 or 7% sharpening, but after that you're gone. So the focus puller to me is the last man standing in a traditional film crew. And you've got to help him as much as possible. So I just say to them, we need that, and that, and that. Have a look at it and get the best ones that suit you. And as long as they're visually compatible to a degree, that's all I worry about. After that, let's go make a movie. So the digital thing was the same thing. I found that this Dit man, after a while, as I said, when we settled down, we derated to 400. He was happier. Visual effects were happier. I was still happy with 400 ASA in our situations. Simple. Off, go and make the movie. So, you know, to me, that's the way I've done it all my life, really, is just kept it all simple. Getting bogged down into testing other cameras to get a fraction of a better colour rendition or a fraction of a better grain structure doesn't interest me at all, to be honest. Because I think that the audience, when they sit in the Midwest and they sit there and they look at a movie, the first 3 shots will tell them what the movie quality is going to be like, and then after that they're going to say, give me the story. That's what I paid the money for. It's the story, not whether I'm looking at the best bloody visual images ever made by man or lens or whatever. They want a story. So to me, that's the more important thing.